it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't even try to save myself. No, I have to. It sucks. Because even if I wouldn't have made her a deal, she still would have used it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you did. And now I'm kind of glad that I told her whenever I get HOH, not just next week. I'm really glad about that because everybody else in this house will put her up.
Not if Zach is still here, they won't.
Well, if I get HOH, either he's going up or I'm going to put Eric and Jessica up. And then one of them will come off. Or if I get POV, I'll pull them off and backdoor Zach. Me and Jamaica up, or Jamaica and Gail, and try to backdoor like me or somebody.
He said he wanted to strategy with me. So,
He did not.
he thinks he's in, but he's unappreciative to ED and Danielle right now. You know what I mean? I don't think he can do that. I think that if I win HOH, I'll put up Deacon Danielle.
You put up no.
I don't know.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Wow, girl.
I don't know. Somewhere, I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I put up who? Oh,
I think so. I don't know.
that'd be a good move.
Maybe not. There's only 6 people that are going to compete tomorrow. Can you believe that?
It's only what?
6 people
Mm-hmm.
competing for HOH.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much everybody.
It's gonna be an endurance thing, you guys.
You think so?
6 people, yeah.
But they just did endurance last week.
Oh, you said HOH. I'm thinking you saying POV.
Mm-mm.
6 people in a true false thing is gonna go down so quick.
I know.
Last week, we've all been plotting on who we want, who would go up, so it's not a matter of her not knowing. I think she absolutely knows. She just wants, if they go up, she wants them to stay up. Yeah. Not coming down, not. But then that's why she was like backdoor though. She was like, that might be the best option. I'm like, I don't know, Jess. God.
I don't know.
This was the main thing I said. I said, Jess, honestly, you are so safe around here. I said, I can't play, but I said, I wouldn't put you up. I said, Eric's not going to put you up. Zach's not going to put you up. Amber's not going to put you up. I said, the only 2 that would actually put you up are those 2. I was like, you got it made. I don't know why she wouldn't put up those 2. She's just feeling pressure. If I put them, I did that last time and it didn't work. Look who's voting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know about Mary. Oh, I thought if it's a tie, she brings it over. It's a tie, and that probably doesn't set me on. I was like, so many people. I said, it seems like Jim was saying, he'll never go home because so many people that would want to be sitting next to him. Before I could even get out, she was like, oh, no, he's not going to be in the final 2. She was like, that's not right.
Jen is the one that blew all this shit out of the water. So whatever Jen is thinking about me being in a secret alliance, that's why Gail came up and said, this could break your guys' alliance. And I said, I'm not in one. You know, it's because Jen is making up the fact that she thinks that people in this house are in alliances that aren't.
That's fucked up. I don't care. I hate fucking Gail. I hate Purple, but that is fucked up with him. But it's not because Orange is so sweet. He looked at me going, Amber, because I'm telling you this because I don't want it to get out later, and you think I've been trying to fucking lie to you. He goes, Amber, I trust you more than anything. He goes, that hug was real. I go, I know it was. He goes, I love you. He goes, I would give you the money before I give it to myself. He goes, I'm telling you right now, you have to believe me. I'm doing this to benefit us long term.
Wow.
Not us, but us as a Mika, you making us.
Yeah, the downstairs areas.
So this is the problem. Orange knew it was a fake alliance. Orange knew it from the get-go. He knew he was gonna fuck. He
knew that he was
Orange was gonna be part of that alliance, and he was. This is what he does every day. He talks to everybody. He goes back and tells them like bullshit things, and they think they're getting real information, but they're really not.
Yeah.
And Gold has no clue that Orange is being two-faced.
Okay.
And Orange that he's using yellow. Orange told them I'm using yellow to fucking find shit out. I don't even really like white, black.
But Dick knows that. Dick told Nick. He goes, I just want to let you know that it's been told to me that it's come from your mouth. And Clear said this to Orange. It said it came from Orange's mouth that you are playing my daughter. That you are using my daughter.
But he's not.
I know. Okay. But Dick already heard that. So that's the thing, is that whatever Jen told Dick, half of it's true and half of it's complete bullshit. Because Purple and Gold have been talking.
Yeah. But you just heard her. She said every time she questions these two, every time she asks them, they never give her any information. She's talking about Purple or
Gold and Orange. Yeah. So what are we going to tell her to do?
No.
Are we going to tell her to out them? Okay, here's what we do. This is what I was thinking. We tell her that she needs to, before the food come tomorrow, go into Dick's HOH room and talk to him while LNC gets together tonight and we talk to Dick.
No, I gotta tell Orange.
You tell Orange and I'll have a conversation with Dick.
No, let Orange have a conversation with Dick.
No, I need to have a conversation with Dick because Dick needs to tell me about me being in some sort of secret alliance, what he's heard, and while I'm talking to Dick one-on-one, you pull Orange aside and be like, look, dude, this is what is up.
But you're not gonna mention anything
No,
like Gail said.
no. This is what the two of us, it works really well. Because I'm pulling Dick aside before anything gets back to Dick. I'm keeping him hostage. Well, you go tell Orange everything that's going on right now. And so that when Orange and Clear have their conversation, Orange is on the same page and knows exactly what to do. So, what we tell...
I think we should help, honestly. This is what I feel in my heart. I think we should tell Purple. We don't know. It's a fucking fucked up situation. We don't want to be a part of it.
Wait, Purple is Jen.
Or Pink. Oh, wait. Someone said that Gold said Purple's going around telling lies. You know why? Because he saw us in the hammock earlier. That's why he's paranoid.
Okay.
Purple doesn't lie to me. Purple's in love with me. So is Red.
Okay.
We have so many people to our benefit.
Pretty sick. But I think it's good that we just told Pink that...
We don't know.
Yeah, what do you think? I don't know. I think that we need to tell Pink to wait it out for the day because, you said give us time to talk about it.
Or at this point, we don't have any proper advice for her. It's not, that's a big deal. It's not something that we can just
ridiculous.
I know. Oh my God, it's fucked up.
He was like, it doesn't matter. He was like, get out of my room. Get out. Like, yeah. Where I just keep thinking about Zach's comment. He was like, it's a numbers game. That's all Zach kept saying to him. It's a numbers game. And the other comment was, Zach said, you're taking this, you're doing too much, or you're taking this out of proportion, or you're kind of like, you're going over the top. Like, if it's an acting thing, like, you're doing too much right now. I don't know. That's all. That's true. That's true. I agree. That's very true. But is he gonna do that? I don't see him honestly putting up ability unless he does a me and ED or a me and Eric or like I don't see him doing it. Because he still feels like Nick was closer to him.
So maybe she did know. Maybe he knows that she knew, but why would he ask me that just to maybe set me up?
See, he's already said some things to me that I was just like, whatever.
What did he say?
I don't buy it. Well, for one, he says he came in here. Well, not in here. He said he came in the house, wherever that was. And he called. Yeah, I called Dustin out. I called him. I told him he was a pussy for putting me up on the block.
He did. I was sitting right here.
And then he was like, is that when Dustin said, well, you can hate me all you want?
Yeah.
Or was that before?
Same time. And then they were in the storage and they just said some more words. Nick's like, I don't hate you, man. I don't hate you. He's like, I like you as a person. And Dustin's like, I still want to cut your hair. I still, it's just, Nick's like, I wish you would have just straight up told me.
Well, I don't know if it's personal to me or not. I just don't buy that he's in favor for me. I just don't. He can say it till he's blue in the face. I don't feel it.
I know.
You know what I mean? I don't feel
See,
it.
and I do. That's why it's so hard for me. I feel Jamaica, I can't keep having these. I can't control him, though. That's the problem. It's not good that I get like this every time. But honestly, I think this is the last one for a while because with Nick being gone, it takes away a lot of that, knowing that he's going to eventually be gone and me having to just I get closer and closer to him. But Danielle was in there and are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, do you want to talk? I'm like, and she's like, not right now. I'm like, okay, that works better for me too. I was like, I was just checking. I go, Danielle, regardless, I just want you to know that I do love you as a person. I said, I go, you can believe that or not. It doesn't matter to me. I just want you to know that. I'm mad at her. Yeah, I'm going to talk to her and when the time's right because the way she's acted to me, it's bullshit. It's not like it's. I know she looks at it like if I would have never said anything, it would have got put off. But because I did, he's on the block, and it really. I feel like I did something wrong, but I really didn't. It's just fucked up.
But see, that is how I felt. Like, I was looking at it from the perspective of, I kept my word, and I'm going to carry through with it. But at the same time, I had the power to not even let that be an option. And that's something I didn't really think that would affect me, like, as much as it is. Like, I was just going to look at it like, but, like, it does suck. It does. I just don't know how genuine he is as a person, which is
Unfortunately, like, I interrupted your situation,
Yeah.
which made it your situation. And, well, it's pretty cool as it related to me personally, but it had nothing to do with you. But I know that, hey, you don't like people interrupting you, don't like people putting words in your mouth.
Yeah.
I know that you can fight your own battles. It was none of that. I came outside because I said, oh my God, she's still out there, and I wanted to rescue you if she was having some sort of a spaz. And, not rescue you, I mean, just like we always say with anyone in this house. And it took all of like 2 seconds for her to say something, and I just became agitated about it, but I think I do, kind of know you a little bit at this point, and I know that the way that it unfolded, it came out the wrong way, and I, just wanted to apologize again, because I know that you probably were a little upset or frustrated or pissed that I interjected.
No, it's not that. I was just mad because, like, the way it made me look, because I was like, that's not what, like, what I was meaning, you know what I mean?
Who was even out there?
Janika Amber.
Well, I spoke to Janika, and 1,000,000% she is not.
I tried to talk to Janika.
Dick, please go to the diary room.
It's nothing like that. She was just saying again.
Thank you.
She really wants the four of us to talk, and she thinks that we should,
Okay.
really do this. And she was saying so much how she appreciates everything that we've done, blah, 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 blah. It's not like you get it all, and I asked her, I was like, she she goes, I couldn't hear what she was saying before. Like, Janika was saying, she's like, we started getting into it. I don't know if she was with you. Or she
Maybe Janika wasn't out there, but I was Amber.
no, she wasn't. Knock him dead. But I didn't take it that way. I know for me it is. And I'm sure that Amber didn't either, and even if she did, I'm happy to clarify for 2 seconds and just say I went out and threw a fucking spaz and interrupted and blah, 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 blah. But I don't think you should be worried about it. But at the same time,
It's making me mad because, like, you and Amber both cut me off. Like, they're like, whatever. I'm fucking butt in if you don't know what I'm talking about. But it's alright. I'm okay. I'm like, I guess I'm kind of glad I didn't waste my time, like, talking to her because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
well, no, because for me, like, for both of us, I think that, like, being respected is a big deal. And since it is a big deal for me, like, I would never want to, even if it was totally accidental, disrespect someone who I respect as much as I respect you. And, like, I was not trying to interrupt you, but words in your mouth.
I'm not
Fight your
mad
battles
that
for
you
you.
did that. That's what I'm saying. I'm just mad because the way, like, what I was saying came across because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I didn't take it the wrong way, but I know that you're concerned about that. But if you're concerned about Amber, I don't think so. I don't think that's where her head was at. I think, speaking from my own point of view, but guessing it's the same way that Amber felt also, this was pure on hate towards Jen. Had nothing to do with who else was out there. And that's the unfortunate part. We were inconsiderate because of it. It had nothing to do with interrupting you. It had to do with the fact that you were speaking calmly and rationally, and we were not. We were in a rage at that point, so she made a comment. We blew up about it. I
Yeah.
don't think that anyone was looking at it that way, but I...
The stronger players. Eric is stronger over Jess. And who's stronger over between Danielle and Edie? Mentally with the mind. Dick, I don't know. I think if I get HOH, I'm gonna put up Dick and Eric.
scared to get HOH, so he's playing this game through Jessica. She's doing everything he wants her to do, so he doesn't have to get HOH. And they definitely have something going on. I think he knows Jessica will make enemies out of Tim and Danielle when they'll have your back more than your girlfriend can have. Let's keep them around. So I think originally it was a backdoor thing, and now it's not. I think yesterday Eric told me, we talked to me, he said, week 2, 3, 4, 5, every week's been a backdoor situation. He goes, except for the week I went home, but it was supposed to be. I don't know what Jessica's doing. I just give her advice. I don't tell her. I don't know. He goes, it could be a backdoor thing. He goes, but then again, I don't know what her targets are. And I go, well, I think there's bigger threats in the house than me. He goes, let's be real here. There's 7 of us left. We're all here for a reason, so we're all technically threats. Oh, well, I trust God. I just have to keep telling myself that. Yeah, but if you get it, I don't know that you want to put a target on your back and take me off. Thought about that.
He's the best choice. You guys, I'll go with whatever the group wants to do. But you need to be okay with it. I think that once Eric stays and you talk to him about it. Amber, it's numbers.
Maybe even tomorrow before. Just if he wants HOH.
Yeah. Because I won't do it if you're not okay with it. Think with your head, sweetheart. Yeah. And again, it came from Danielle. You don't know if it's true.
Yeah, and not to mention, Eric knows that he can be backdoored. He knows the numbers will get him out of here. He's like, and he's smart. He can use it to our advantage. Yeah, absolutely. That's what he said. He was like, I'm good at competitions. He was like, I won't throw him out like win. Keep in mind, he can only win one. He can't win 2 back-to-back. So that's why he's going to definitely try and fight for us. Because he knows he can't have it that second. Sure, you need him to right now, I think.
We all do. It's a numbers game.
You guys, he's going to come after me.
No, we won't. Because the 4 of us can roll numbers.
Yeah, he won't.
And if he does, we still have the votes at that point.
And even still, as long as we get ED out of here, I don't care. Like, he would put him up quickly.
Yeah. Because Amber, then, if I went out of household and Eric stays, I have the freedom to put the 2 of them up, which is exactly what we all want.
Not to mention, he could, like a bond, but not a bond, just put
Yeah.
Eric and ED up. And then,
Because if you want HOH, you can't put them up because you made that deal.
No, I didn't, because Eric will be here.
No, that's what I said.
but
Yeah.
listen, so even if you put Eric and ED up, if ED comes off, Danielle goes up, Danielle goes off.
Amber, it's a need to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to him. He does love you.
Yeah, he does. That's why I didn't want to say too much because I know you didn't want to hear it. But he fucked up and he knows it royalty.
Amber, Shamika and I are coming to you as the 2 people who love you the most.
Seriously.
This will take you further than anything
Than
else.
anything else. And I need it. We all need it. Dustin needs it because without him, that's one more person that can try and get Edie out the house. I can't do shit. It would be a lot of pressure on you.
And then we would be breaking our deal.
Okay.
You might not know it now.
This is a good decision.
You might not know it now, but this is the best thing
I
for
think
us.
so. I think so.
I know so. It's a number.
Thinking that y'all are gonna come after me now.
No, they'll come after me because it was on my word, not yours.
Yeah, which means that
They'll come
Eric
after
does.
or me and Eric, absolutely.
That means that they can fight hard. This next situation, all we need is one of them. One of them. One. If you get some, maybe she'll put one up too.
Jen's gets
No,
Jen's gonna put up either Eric and Dick or me and Dick. And then we still have the votes.
Eric and Jen, you have to worry about that.
It's exhausted.
I don't buy that 100%.
No, I
But
don't
they talked again tonight. Nonetheless, I think they both get realities as a week. So, fuck it, we gotta do what we gotta do.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I asked him. I asked him, who's smarter? The one who played the game that way, Eric, or the ones who figured it out? Edie and Danny. Who's smarter?
Eric. Eric is all smart. And it took them 5 weeks to figure it out.
This is a good scenario. I really feel like that.
Okay.
It'd be different if we had nothing on. There's so much stuff we have.
And remember, it's crucial for this next week because then it guarantees 4 of us, Eric, you, Jessica, me, 4 of us will be going against the 3 of them for out of household. If it weren't for that, it'd be a split, me, you, and Jessica versus Dick, Zach, and Jen. The 3 of them are loose cannons and will put me up, guaranteed. They see me as the stronger pair, me and you.
Right.
They would tear that open at the seams and I would go home. You can't handle that after Nick just left.
That's not gonna happen, don't worry.
No.
If this house Operation Karma, another side of Lake City, Eric won't go home, but he'll get HOA and put them up.
And Dick will go home.
And he'll go home.
Dick will go the fuck home. Because if that motherfucker goes up, that motherfucker knows if he doesn't win POV, he's going home. Because even if,
No, you guys are right. You guys are right. Seriously.
I told you, I was freaking out all day.
Otherwise, Dick and Danielle are gonna end up winning this game.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm stronger than Dick. Mentally,
Eric's gonna be so rude to me now.
No, he's not.
no, he won't. He's gonna kiss your pocket. Amber, you know me and Jamaica. my shifts and you show them.
Remember when you told me that Edie and Danielle were talking and you were just joking, like, and he's like, you better do it before Thursday. Did it sound like he tried to say that in front of you? Like it was staged? Because I'm wondering outside right now, Eric's like, okay, about Zach with training, and you know, remember?
Yeah, I thought about that too, but you know how it's kind of like, it's a little bit too much, but I don't know. Can't really put my finger on it.
Definitely say that to Jessica, like, you know, to see if he'll use the video, because what I think Eric told me, he's like, this is Jess's HOH week. He's like, I'm not gonna do anything to try to control it like Dick did with Danielle's HOH week. He goes, but if she wants me to use it, I'll use it, you know, because it's not gonna be like oh, I'm gonna use it, you're, you know, caught on the spot, what are you gonna put up? And he said, he goes, but the thing of it is, if he's talking to her, if he's a good manipulator, like I used to be with my boyfriend, and he's telling her, oh, you know, I'll use it, whatever you want to do, and trying to get her to be like, no, it's fine. That's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
I talk to Jess, but she just, it's not, I don't feel right with it with you. I feel like it's because she won't tell Eric, and you won't tell her that she won't tell Eric, and you tell her, Amber, that, you know, Amber told me not to say anything about what her and Eric talked about. Say, I don't think it's a big deal, but something didn't sit right with me. I will. You know, because I know how Jessica feels about you. Eric said himself. You know, don't put too much out there, but just enough to where it's like, you know, I just don't want her to get played, and I really think he's playing her. I know he is. And I think she thinks she's playing him too. But you saw him at the table, and I fucking whore.
And that effing whore, and he said, what else?
Piece of shit.
Yeah, okay.
Like, what? You don't just say that.
Yeah. It's like not drinking, who cares? Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I would hate for me and you to get eliminated from this game, and her to be the next one to go. I would hate that. If anything, if I'm not meant to make it to the end, I need like good people to make it to the end, because believe me, Janika, when I'm in that jury house, I will get Dustin and Jen to vote the same way I'm voting, and that's 3 votes right there, not to mention a 4th. Whoever's left, you know what I mean? So.
I talked to her in the morning. I wanted to tell her that I talked to her in the morning, but she was out there, and I was hoping that she would come inside and bother me, but she didn't. But she was like, you mean good? Like, she didn't want me to go to bed, but I didn't want to be out there. Because then it would have been to have time where it looked like me and you talked. You know what I mean? So,
I just know how she loves you. You can so tell.
I see I can.
Oh my god. Oh, it's ridiculous, Jamaica.
I can.
She's obsessed with you. It's ridiculous. You don't see it. Oh my god. Yeah, I do big time. I don't never lie to you once. I never will. I promise. That's why everything I told you tonight that Eric said is not over-exaggerated. No extra word, nothing like that.
Okay, do you want me to tell her that if she wants to get like further details, she can talk to you about it? Or no, because then I'm telling her.
That you know that that you're basically telling her that you know that I know that you told her. Say if you want, Jess, say I don't know. You know, say I can kind of talk to Amber and see how she feels about me telling you, about you telling her. You know, you saying me telling you, say, but be like, do you want me to do that, or do you just want me to, you know, just leave it alone? And like, I just want you to know, because I really care about you. And Amber said that just didn't sit right. Make it look like you're kind of not turning on me, but turning on me for her.
Yeah. I'm going to get up in the morning and I'll talk to her, but the only thing here is
I'll probably sleep in there.
like, just I need to talk to you. Like, I'll make it like immediate. She'll get up for me. I know she will.
it's like, do I want to keep you around because you have my back? But at the same time, let's be honest here. Nobody in this house wants to be next to you, excluding Jamaica in the end, because you know you'll win. And we all here for one reason. And I was like, I thought you wanted good people to win. He's like, I do, but, do you still consider me a good person after everything? Just kept contradicting himself. Oh, God. But I don't want you to do anything you're not comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with it. I just don't want it to be. I just want to remember everything so it can be quick, but to the point and meaningful. I'm just trying to process everything as you're telling it to me. It's just basically in the same breath he said, he doesn't know where his vote would stand this week. Yeah. And then he turned around and said about, me and you. And if Jessica's right there with us. I know. Yeah, that I got. That's pretty much it. Yeah. And then the comments tonight. Yeah. Sorry. No. And I'll talk to you in the morning anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
And it went okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you talked to Danielle?
No, not yet. I haven't seen her all day.
Oh, she's doing her blog, that's why.
Oh.
What? Doing her blog. Hey, is Eric acting sketchy?
Well, no, like Dustin and I were outside tanning, and Zach was there for a while, and Zach left, and then Eric came outside. But I got hungry, so I went to go eat, and then Dustin came inside, so it was kind of like we still left him out there. So, but I'm getting to go back out there. But other than that, he seemed fine. He goes, what, you're up early? And I was like, yeah, I've been up since 5. And he's like, you have? He acted like he didn't know, but... Was he asleep when you guys came back in here? Or do you know?
We don't know. He yeah. But, you're right. What if they don't stick with the group?
Right. That's what I'm afraid of.
And now they've kind of pulled Zach on to their side.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I kick ass tomorrow.
I know. Big time. I know. Ooh. Yeah, the buzzer thing would go so quick.
Jessica, you know what it might be?
What?
Like, it might be like in order, like the two, they do one HOH first, and who is the 2 first nominees, who won POV, who went home. It might be like people, like, you know what I mean, in order like that. So just
Go through it.
Yeah, go through it.
I usually do that when I'm working out.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
All of the weeks? Okay.
The only thing would be like just not every competition, like who got out after who, but for the most part, I think I do remember.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that. You guys, it might very well be that because there's only 6 people competing, and I don't think they'll do true or false. I don't think they will, or ARB, and endurance was last week. So that's one thing we haven't done yet, and usually they put a clock and time you how quick you do it, how quick you can get it done. You know what I mean? In order the people, so that could very well be. Did Dustin talk to you yet?
Yeah.
Did you tell him you kind of knew?
Yeah. He said it. And he basically just said everything that you guys said, so
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
He said he's voting to get rid of Eric, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
feel. We know a little bit. I know. That's why I was looking at you.
I know.
Think so?
Yeah.
Better not do it.
Well, if they basically even try.
I don't like to
But if they did, but if they try, I think, we should at least consider getting Amber out. But it's,
Are you positive?
I haven't spoken
That
to
would be
her.
smarter.
I haven't spoken to her since then, but last night they were 100%.
No, they don't. They will.
Yeah, exactly. You said 100.
Right, you said it.
No, I said if they tried to go after me, I'd consider getting Amber.
What? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But that'll be a hard sell with Danielle. They probably won't go for it, which means that we'd have to already be, iffy with them. But I don't know. I'm not positive, that it's 100% with them.
Obviously.
So there's still walking away and agreeing to him going to the final five. So I'm telling them now, Shane this week, and then he's going next week, period, end of story. They're not discussing anything else. And what the hell would they do? Because why would they do it? They want to be sitting here with me or Jamaica and Amber. Right?
Right.
Which is why I'm going to say I need to go into it. It's either Jen and Zach go first or Jen and Zach go close. But not they choose the order of all four people. It's not gonna work. And I'm probably telling them that I don't want to stay until after they make the decision, so it can't be me.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, just be like, yeah. And then Monday, I'm thinking about it. We got to talk about the order here.
Because we have two of us competing this week.
I don't.
Maybe you'll win this week.
I think you'll win again.
Really?
Yeah, but that's okay.
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
It'll just be another reason you'll have sleep bury me. Probably. I think what I would do is put up one email saying we want to keep the hypocrites like we're not together. So you're the boss. And then put up and then just get up there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another After Midnight listening session with Olaf. Olaf? Yeah, that's me, and today we'll be listening to the Sennheiser HD 800S. But first I would like to thank my friend Max who sent this to me, so I finally had the chance to try it out and have a listen. And I would also like to let you listen, at least virtually. Therefore I'm wearing binaural microphones deep inside my ear. It took me quite a long time to optimize my recording method in such a way that I would be confident enough offering you sound samples that I think are realistic, valid or representative. Of course you should listen with a decent pair, a neutral pair of headphones like the Sennheiser HG600, 6XX, 58X and so on. They all differ slightly, but I would still regard them all as neutral. But now let's concentrate on this baby here. It comes in quite a big box, so let's open it together. Inside is another wooden box similar to the one we've seen from the Sennheiser 6XX, and also comes with a manual. I think this is the first headphone that I've seen with a manual, especially such a thick one. But now let's have a look inside here. Yeah, this is a second cable. There's already one attached, and here you can see, yeah, you get what you pay for, embedded in some plush, really premium. So let's take it out, put everything away. But first I would also like to have a look inside the manual, because I cannot quite imagine what they are talking about here. I think my friend didn't even open it yet. Looks so new, everything. Also some cleaning cloth. So yeah, this is what you pay for. I mean, I think the original price is around 1,500 euros. So not that cheap actually. So I have to untangle this wire, although it's way too long, as you can see, and also way too thick. So it's like some iron. I think it's okay like this. It's long enough. So we'll attach this later. Now the manual in 20 different languages, therefore it's so thick. Kopfhörer der Superlative. So let's look for the English version. Here it is. The Ultimate Headphones. A modern classic, Sennheiser's reference class HD 800 headphones deliver sound that is as natural as possible and true in every detail. Blah 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 blah. So this is the 800S with absorber technology, compared to the first one, the 800, which didn't have any absorber technology. The problem was, from what I've heard, I've never heard the 800. This is my first 800 series headphones that I've heard. The 800 had some problems with treble, especially lower treble at around 6-7 kilohertz. There was some nasty peak, and there were some freaks who started to mod the headphones. I think the most popular is called French mod, which reduced this treble peak a little bit. Maybe Sennheiser got inspired by this and they released an own version called 800S. They call this absorber technology, whatever. The difference is not huge, maybe 2-3 dB reduction of this peak. There is also, I think, some frequency response graph here. Reference diffuse field frequency response, so it would appear to be quite flat in the diffuse field, and you can also see some difference between the 800, which has about, according to this, 2-3 dB more in the 6-7 kilohertz region. Apart from that, they should sound more or less the same, although I've read some comments claiming that the 800 still has more controlled bass or whatever. I'm not sure. So the headphone itself doesn't really feel cheap, but it doesn't give any premium feeling because everything is plastic here. Yeah, you have some nice writing here, and it's quite light. So I would like to compare it against my own Focal LX. A better or more realistic competitor would be the Focal Clear, which costs more or less the same, but I have only the LX, and from what I've heard, LX and Clear sound more or less the same. So yeah, let's simply compare these two. Apart from that, you can see the ear cups are pretty large, so bigger than the ones from the LX, and it also feels quite nice on the head. Doesn't clamp that much. The LX has a way stiffer, way stronger clamp, but also feels nice. So you get a nice feeling. This here is rather loose. Apart from that, yeah. Let's simply attach it, and I would also like to thank Apos Audio for providing me these amps and decks here. I will be using the Topping DX7 Pro to power my LX. I didn't bother using the balanced cable because it doesn't make any difference anyhow. I mean, you need symmetrical or balanced for studio work. If you work with a low gain like microphone or so, but for headphones it does make sense. It's just, yes, some fashion. Still, let's attach it here so I don't need to swap the cables. And the Topping is also acting as a deck for the SMSL SP200 over XLR, and I tried to match volumes more or less for both. So yeah, if you haven't yet, please put up your headphones. And of course, I cannot offer you 100% true sound of the headphone, also depending on how you listen, with what kind of headphone, what kind of equipment. But I think the characteristics, the essence of the headphones, character of its soul is captured quite well. And as usual with my midnight listening sessions, I would like to play rather mellow tracks, so to be really relaxed, unlike with my normal videos where I'm really nervous, stressed because my wife is waiting until I finally finish. Now I'm alone, so it's 2 o'clock. I'm only here with my dog Jimmy, who is somewhere over there, and the guinea pig, so you might hear some noise from them, but apart from them, nobody will disturb us. So the Sennheiser has a nice, open, airy sound, but at the same time, treble sounds a little bit off. It's not extreme or somehow unbearable, but it's just, it doesn't sound quite right. I will play another track, maybe. Yeah, not only the frequency response is different, I think that the LX sounds definitely smoother with treble. Also, maybe you could hear it, bass has somehow more kick, more attack. This has rather a bit too much mid bass. So I would like to show you some frequency response measurements, also measured with my ears. Therefore, this is not a reference system, but this is what enters my ear. So here we can see the left and right channel for the Sennheiser HD800S. There is some slight imbalance, but this could be because of some difference in positioning between the headphone and also the microphones themselves. My ears are not completely equal, left and right. Also, I feel it sometimes when I wear in-ear monitors that I need different, or I have a different feeling with the same tips for the left and right ear. So I will average left and right, so we can read this maybe a little bit better, and you can see some strong, a bit bloated treble. Just for reference, I will also overlay the Focal LX here, and you can see overall a flatter response with deeper bass, not as much upper bass here. Also the deep that the Sennheiser has, which makes the mids appear a little bit hollow. Maybe you could already hear it from the tracks. There is a bit too much deep here at 2 kilohertz, and then it raises extremely. The peaks you are seeing here are also related to my own ear resonance, so I get some resonance at 4.5 kilohertz, at 6 kilohertz, at 8.5, then 11, 13. So I think if you measured this with a flat plate, you would get more a treble bubble without these peaks. So you can see, I will take away the Sennheiser so you can see the LX a little bit better. It measures quite flat, also has a bit too much treble energy, but not as extreme as the Sennheiser here. So I would like to listen to another track and show you how the sound changes again when I slide it around. The ear cups are pretty big, so I would assume that I should wear it maybe centered, with my ears centered, but then it doesn't sound that great. Smoother response, not as broad. I'm not even sure my recording method can capture all the nuances and also soundstage, which I doubt. But I think you can hear that the LX has a smoother response with nicer bass. And let me show you how the frequency response changes when you slide the headphone around. So this is with the position more or less centered with the ear pads, and this would be when I push it backwards. I will take away the first one so you can see these peaks here somehow get smoothened out. You also get some treble loss, some upper treble loss, but overall you also see there is more response between 2 and 3 kilohertz. So we filled up this deep here. It sounds simply nicer. So I'm not sure, maybe they did this on purpose, but then why didn't they design it to get the best sound centered somehow? They are too big. A friend of mine told me that it probably appears, or the pads are so big so that they can act as some additional room. Therefore you get some really heavy soundstage, as there are some diffuse reflections inside, and this also adds to this experience, to this effect of getting a broader soundstage. I will play some other tracks. Maybe here that the mids sound a little bit hollow. There is some deep, stronger than on the LX, and then some strong race with treble. With the next track, you maybe can hear how the vocal, the lead vocal, appears way broader on the Sennheiser. So really, the singer is torn apart a little bit. It's quite unique because of this, exaggerated, somehow artificial soundstage. But the frequency response is a little bit underwhelming. Maybe you could hear it in a direct comparison against the LX, which is pretty neutral. So the LX is definitely closer to the HD600, just with better bass, better treble, also nicer soundstage. The HD800S is not a step backwards, but it's something completely different. So the 600, which was a classic, then again with the 650, 660S, they are more or less the same headphone. This is something completely different, and it's not necessarily a big improvement. It has an impressive soundstage, artificial one, but the frequency response is not really perfect. So I would have to equalize a headphone which costs $100,500, and I think this is not my job. So when I spend so much money for a headphone, I wouldn't have bought it. It sounds even impressive, and you get used because it's not unbearable like we had with this Techstar Pro 82 or 82 Pro. It had really horrible treble. This one is also boosted, but it's to some degree still tasteful. So Sennheiser managed. I'm not sure how the original 800 was, if it was much worse than this, but this sounds too not right. The only thing I could offer you is maybe playing some further samples, and instead of swapping the headphones all the time, I will record one after the other and then do the switching in post-processing, also mixing in the original track, so you have some reference, and then you can maybe judge the sound a little better. I, for myself, especially for $600, this is a no-brainer. Now again, 700, you should have taken it when it was discounted. I'm a bit underwhelmed. I don't want to make it sound bad because it is impressive to some degree. With particular recordings, it's quite enjoyable, but for me, it's not a reference. It sounds too wrong, too fake somehow, and it doesn't really feel premium. Really, everything plastic here. Design is okay, I mean, it's a matter of taste, but yeah. So this is my take on the HD800S. To some degree, really something unique, something impressive, but I think, I mean, the successor on the 820 is a complete disaster compared to this. Just looking at the frequency response, I mean, what were they thinking? So maybe this is the top Sennheiser headphone to get, except maybe although this they have an electrostatic one. If you have too much money, maybe get this. But I don't think it's really worth it. Because of the soundstage, it maybe is. I've never heard any of these larger Odyssey headphones, LCD2 or 4 or something. They also claim to have an impressive soundstage, but maybe their frequency response is even worse. So this is still at a level that I would call, well, not neutral, but to some degree neutral. The Odysseys are probably not, so they need some EQ. This with some EQ could maybe shine, maybe even outperform the LX. But what I didn't like with some recordings, this torn apart center image sounds really strange. So a vocalist, suddenly fat guy or something, while in reality it should be the voice is not something broad, but coming from some point. So I was a little bit, also with my own recordings, they really sounded fake. When I listened to my own binaural recordings over the LX, I have the impression as if I was there, as if I'm being there where I recorded it, not with the Sennheiser. It sounds artificial, it sounds wrong. I get a very precise imaging with the Etymotic, regardless if ER2 or ER4 or something, but not with the Sennheiser. It may be okay, this exaggerated soundstage for normal speaker recordings. So there you have a kind of out of head localization or effect, but it's just a headphone. It sounds broader than a normal headphone, but it's nothing that I would turn the head around or something. So yeah, this was it for the Sennheiser HD800S. It would have been interesting to compare it to the original 800 if the difference is really so extreme, or if it's just marginal. So thanks a lot, Max, for lending me it. Yeah. Ultimate headphones, blah blah blah. Unique ear cup design, direct sound waves to the ear at a slight angle to create an impressively natural and spatial listening experience. Also thanks to Apos Audio for providing me these units so I can use them for all my future tests, powering 2 headphones simultaneously, which is also nice. I didn't have the option before. And I can power the LX also through XLR if wanted, but it doesn't make any sense. So I will keep the SMSL SP200 as my secondary amp and the DX7 Pro as my main amp. I will of course also post the amp video soon. I'm currently doing some statistical evaluation, so I can provide you some values, who had it right, how many had it wrong, and so on. So stay tuned. But these two are definitely very, very nice units. So thanks, Apos Audio. Check their store. They have a great, how do you say, stock of amps, in-ears, headphones, and so on. So great company that also supported my channel in some way. So now it's 3 o'clock. It took a bit longer than expected. My wife was already complaining because she saw sitting me here mid of night and thinking I'm crazy. So I hope you like this. I will of course do more after midnight listening sessions. I have the Hi-Fi-Man Edition XX, which I would also like to cover. Quite an interesting headphone. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome to After Midnight with Olaf. No, I'm just kidding, but it's really late, 3 o'clock in the morning. My family is already sleeping, so I have to be a bit calm. But I decided to make this final review of the Focal LX, especially for all those who are still undecided, who don't know what to expect from this headphone. And as it's still discounted for the next couple of days, until the 17th of November, you can get it for cheaper, for $600 instead of $700. And I think for this price, it's an outstanding headphone. I think outperforming most others in this category, price range, whatever. So as I don't have anyone who will disturb me, usually my wife is waiting until I finally finish, so I'm here. I can do this quite relaxed, and I would like to do this as some kind of live video. So everything is live. All sound samples you are hearing will be live. But first, about the headphone itself. I like it a lot. I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's transparent here. So the looks is really quite outstanding. Also quality, build quality is really nice. So this is all metal. The only plastic part is this ring here, but everything else is quite sturdy. and it's heavy. So it's more than 400 grams. I think 200 grams more than the HD6XX here. Still, I think it's quite comfortable on the head. Also very nice soft pads, although the left one here is rustling a little bit. So when I put it up, put it on, so when I slightly push sometimes I get some rustling from the left ear pad. So the focal LX is something, it should be below the ear and the clear, but in reality it sounds better than the ear and closer to the clear, which costs $1,500 or something. Some claim that with the ear pads it sounds in closer to the clear. So you don't need to spend twice this price if you can get the LX for $700. It comes with two different cables, a normal one with a 6.5mm plug and a balanced one, but the cables are really horrible. So very stiff, very thick, and they create some cable noise because of this stiffness, whatever. So I asked my friend to build a nice cable for me. I like it a lot. He did this by himself, and with this cable I like it really a lot. There's no cable noise. Even my wife said, oh, the cable is really nice, because this one is even heavy. So the cable alone has maybe 50-60 grams. What else to say? Yeah, I would like to demonstrate you the sound immediately, and how it changes depending on how you place it on your head. Many headphones are quite critical. For example, the Sennheiser here isn't, so it's regardless how I put it on, it sounds more or less the same, but the LX changes the sound. But first, let's listen to the first track. Some frequency response measurements, how the sound changes depending on the position. So this is the focal LX for left and right channel, and you can see the first obvious thing is how impressive the channel matching is. These differences here above 3 kHz may also be because of my ear, because I don't have the microphones exactly equal. I will still average it, and this would be the position with the headphone pushed up slightly. Centered, it would look like this. So you can see the tonality, especially above 1 kHz, changes slightly. You get some boost here at 6 kHz. You don't get this peak at 4, but overall it becomes a little bit too harsh. So I prefer it with the position like this, and overlaying the Sennheiser HD6XX. You can see most obvious thing is that the LX simply has a better bass extension. So LX has more bass in the lower region, below 80-70 Hz, while the Sennheiser has more upper bass, so above 100 Hz there's way more. And you can see treble is quite similar, so they have the same peaks. This may be the peaks of my ears, I'm not quite sure, but the LX has definitely way more response above 11-12 kHz, so it's some other slight peak, which makes the LX definitely sound more resolving, with a nicer, clearer sound. So let's play some other tracks so you can hear the difference maybe slightly better. If I have it exactly centered, you could see it gets some peak here at, what is this, between 5 and 6 kHz, which gets reduced when I position it better. So I will detach the Sennheiser here, and another headphone which I like quite a lot. And I would like to simply show you how nice you can bring it if some equalizer is used. So let me stop all this. I will attach it to my phone, and I prepared the HiFiMan HE4XX with the Studio Ear Redstone ES100, which is a Bluetooth receiver that has an equalizer built in. So you can control equalizer from here, and this is the equalizer which I set for the HE4XX, which brings the frequency response quite close to the LX. So I will simply play some tracks. Later on I will also switch on, switch off the equalizer, that you can hear what it changes exactly. So let me see. HiFiMAN HE4XX. This would be without equalizer and this with. And you can see with equalizer, it's a simple 10-band equalizer, so I didn't reduce any peaks, simply tried to bring the frequency response closer to flat. It is similar to the LX. Still, the LX seems to have more bass, although I hear rather the HiFiMAN a little bit more bass heavy. The LX has the slight mid bump here at 1.5 kHz, but you can see again that treble is similar. So I had to boost 16 kHz, 6 dB in order to get a similar response. The HiFiMAN even has more response above 14-15 kHz compared to the LX. So a cheap headphone like the HiFiMAN with some slight EQ, for example, in this case from the Redstone Bluetooth receiver, can be also made to sound really great, really decent. You don't need to spend $600, but the great thing about the LX is that you don't need anything. Just plug it into some phone. It doesn't even need any amp. I would like to make some video maybe showing how the sound changes with various amps, as I'm getting several units. So we can maybe try this out. But it sounds great from a smartphone. I can listen to it in my bed. It sounds really great. A little bit too heavy, so the HiFiMAN is slightly lighter, maybe around 100 grams or something. But the LX, for me, it's some not only reference, but it's an end game. I wouldn't spend way more than $600-700 for a headphone. It must be perfect. So, like I already mentioned before, so the frequency response has to be nice. It has to have all other parameters great, so speed, imaging, soundstage, resolution, and I think it shines in all these aspects, outperforming most others. But a great planar magnetic cheap headphone like the HiFiMAN can also be brought to a similar level, maybe not as refined as the LX, but quite close with some simple 10-band equalizer like I've shown here. So again, for all those, if you are undecided, the only thing I can offer you is the same samples that I played in my last videos. I recorded it again with the Sennheiser, so I can do some switching in post-processing without me putting up or putting down the headphones all the time. So I will just add this at the end of the video. But I think the LX, you just need to swap the wires or the cable, because the originals are, I could immediately throw it. I wanted to throw them away because they are really junk. But this one doesn't have any cable noise, so slightly when I, not at all, but the other ones, I will maybe try this. I think you can hear this when I touch something, not sure. So the LX, my personal end game currently. I would like to try some other ones, of course, but from what I know, all the models that I've seen do not have this balanced frequency response. The Biodynamic DT 1990 has some strange peak at 7 kHz, way stronger, which simulates some resolution, but in reality it isn't. So I think the LX, if you need some great neutral, not only neutral, but it sounds exciting to some degree. So the bass, I will overlay the LX again compared to the equalized HiFiMAN. So you can see it has some bass boost. Of course, I could also boost bass for the HiFiMAN more, but I wanted to keep it rather flat. And the drivers of the HiFiMAN seem to be quite nice. It has great dynamics, also a nice soundstage, and what I like about it, that with these foams, you have the impression as if you were really embedded into some nice plush, some pillow or whatever. So I don't want to talk more. Check my other videos about the LX. I just want to conclude this topic also for all those who are not quite decided or who are afraid of spending $600 for a headphone. But I think this is really the only headphone that you need. You will need another one for outdoors, I don't know, something small. But this is the only headphone that you need for monitoring. So it works as a studio monitor because the frequency response is really natural, not perfectly flat, but there is no headphone that is completely flat. It can be used as for enjoying on the sofa. You don't need any amp, just attach it to your smartphone, to your DAP or some other player. I didn't even try it from my old iPod, but I could maybe try. So it does all bells and whistles. So there is nothing that it misses. Only drawback is a little bit too heavy maybe, and apart from that, nothing. The treble can give a slightly metallic character, but it's probably, let me see the response measurements again. The Sennheiser has exactly the same peaks here, just that it misses response here above, what is it, 12, 13 kilohertz, which the LX definitely has. So I really don't want to bore you more. I hope this could give you some kind of live impression, how they sound compared to each other. For me, the LX is an outstanding headphone, and I'm not saying this because I got it for free. I ordered another one because I want to have a backup, or one for monitoring at the PC, the other one for enjoying, or one for my wife, one for me. So many ways, and if I really don't need it, I could sell it or give it to some friend. But for $600, I think jump on the train and get one, because later on you will probably regret to not having bought it for 600, and who knows if it will be available in future. Because when I asked Drop, it was some 2 months ago, they didn't even know if it will appear. They said something about April. Then it obviously was released earlier, and with the discount they will probably be sold quite quickly. So I'm really not saying this because I want to sell it to you. I don't get any provision, nothing. I simply think, I'm so enthusiastic about this headphone that I think you would probably regret not having bought it. Unfortunately, there is no shipping to Europe. Not sure. From what I heard, this is decision from Focal, not from Drop. Yeah, they would probably sacrifice their sales of the Alier and Clear, because the Alex, a friend of mine, has both. Yeah, thanks Mark again for the cable. So he has both, and he claims that with the Alier pads, it sounds really, really close to the Clear for less than half the price. So this was it. I will play some samples against the Sennheiser HD6XX again, the same ones we've heard before against the LCD1 and the Foster XDR X00 Ebony. So thanks a lot for watching, that you joined me during this night intermezzo here, and I hope you liked it. I would have liked maybe to make some kind of live stream, but it will be hard to get the audio live into the computer, also equalized, because I need to apply some equalizer, and maybe in future I will try to set up more live, so live in sense, so more streaming. But currently even my internet speed is too slow to allow for full HD to be streamed or to be uploaded. Therefore I would like to try, and we can maybe do this what Metal 571 does, so question Q&A with some live streaming, some live listening. I don't know, so there are really endless possibilities, endless options how to create a review. So now I have to go to bed. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.
It's an easy argument to make, to say we still need to split the two of them up. They're a strong pair. They've been controlling the game. They're Will and Boogie. We're letting them take charge. We gotta get rid of them. Blah 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 blah. And I figured it's like an argument that can clearly be defined to other people to say, hey, listen. Now, of course, Jen was one of those people, but nonetheless, to say, hey, listen, these are two people that, are clear and present danger. We gotta get one of them out. I kind of figured it
someone would have to do at some point. No.
If I win HO, if I win POV, do you want, if you're an HOA, do you want nominations to stay the same or?
I would have to, way too far down the road in terms of, I'm not even sure who I would put up in what combination with what goal. I mean, it's pretty easy to wager, like, who, would be amongst the people that I would want to lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You okay?
Tired.
You are tired.
I interrupted her slumber.
You did.
I'm so done with you today.
I wasn't even gonna say that.
No, I'm saying that about you. I think I'm gonna go to bed soon.
Jamaica,
Hmm.
you going to bed? Just shut your eyes for 5 minutes and you'll be out.
Where's Amber?
Outside talking to ED.
Uh-huh.
Oh, good night.
Oh, get some water.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
You see what I have to
Alright.
deal with? I say, she tells me she's thirsty. I say, get some water. And she...
Did you know, like, in week 4, like, Final 4, that you're going home?
Wait.
I said, talk about dragging out. You think this week's dragging out? Let's say Final 4, like, you know you're going home. Like, that week.
Oh, right.
But I said, to me, I'm under the impression, not the case for you, but to me, I get to the Final Four, and I lose, and it will simply be a case of the fact that I had 2 chances to win one of these things. I did not, and that's it. I have done as far strategically, intellectually, personally.
Yeah.
And then it's like, so if on those days I lose those 2 competitions, then there's a good chance I'll go home, and that's that. I'm not gonna cry over it at that point.
I will.
I know. I'd be more pissed at the final 3 to go home than the 4, because the 3, it's like, if I stood on that fucking thing 15 more seconds, I could have won $500,000. Whereas the 4, like if it's like an endurance thing or whatever thing, whereas at the 4, if you lose, you lose. I mean, look at last year. Last year, Will went home at 4, and Will played an awesome fucking game. He controlled the game from start to finish. You can never say that he didn't do an awesome job last year. He just didn't win those competitions. He went home at 4. So I don't think if you go home at that point, you have to feel badly about what you did. It just didn't happen at the end. I'm not suggesting that's what I came here for, but if you can,
I don't like your attitude.
no, that's not.
I'm going to win.
So am I. My point is though, I'm not gonna sit for 25 years of regrets if I go out in the top 4.
I will.
So anything but winning, you'll regret the rest of your life.
Yep.
Great. That means the rest of my life too. Yes. You seem to keep forgetting that we're getting married.
No one of us better.
Wait, is that a good strategy? That's a good idea.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
No way. I'm doing the shoulders before HOH this week.
Do it right now.
I don't know if I can laying down.
That's how I was on my video. And I was like laying on the floor like that. And they're like, okay, now dance. I was like, I can't. What can you seriously do?
I had to tie these up so Jamaica wouldn't pull them down.
Okay. Okay. You've been my partner for a very Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying before. I think, yeah, the fact that all three of us were in the top 6 is pretty cool. Doesn't normally happen that way.
Nope. Think you'll get a question on Thursday? I think I'll get one.
Yeah, I think I will. I think one of us will for sure get the question about the phone call. So it'll either be, Eric, you made a hard choice this week. You gave up a phone call to home. Like, you know.
Is there anything that you want to say or anything like that?
Oh, I hope not. Because the answer is no.
Whatever.
And, or you'll just get one about that. If it's not about that, I don't think there'd be anything for me to get a question about. Or I could get the, just straight up, like, Erica, what the hell? That's not my name. Like, you know, I could get the straight up, Eric, was it difficult to like, you know, have two of your closest friends on that, and then us on the block together this week, type of thing.
Yeah. I can see Marriage making you that question too. It's like sitting next to.
Oh, for sure. I hope Zach doesn't even get HOH questions.
I know. Like, we don't have time this week.
What a douchebag. So you're okay with me investing some of our winnings in Dolphin Crash, right?
No. Mm-mm. That's funny though.
What about Nick's monkey?
No.
And Jen's tail removal surgery?
Nope.
Not even. I mean, that's for the better good of the country. Sit over. That's just what they asked me.
If you got caught,
Yeah, because of like.
House guests. You are not allowed to talk about your diary room sessions with other house guests.
That kind of thing. I want to play backgammon with you. Do you like backgammon?
I don't know how to play it.
It's super fun. You'd actually really like it. Really like it.
What? That's what you said to him?
You know what I mean? Like that week when you were sad? Let's go see if Scrubbica's done with backgammon so we can play. Should I stop calling her Scrubbica? That's really mean, right?
Whatever you want.
How's I gonna edit that?
Bubbles. You couldn't even see. I know, but they said everybody said it, so they got he said Joshua, Sharon, Chelsea, everybody that was out there in the hot tub. Sharon said that too. They said it. You said it too. Sharon. Yeah. Sharon. Yeah. Sharon and Joshua. Yeah. And Chelsea. And there was more. I can't remember the other people who were in there, but whoever was in the hot tub, I think it was James too. I didn't say anything to James. They said they were all in the hot tub when you said it. It was referring to me because as soon as no, but it was, they said it as soon as I left. I didn't say anything about anyone when everyone left.
was like, oh, Showtime's getting a good show. I was like, I just don't want to be portrayed as a whore or a slut.
Yeah.
That's why I'm keeping my clothes on.
Yeah.
That's exactly what was said. Yeah. And you can, like, hopefully when your family members recorded that episode, hopefully they play that episode, because I seriously want you to see. I would never bash you. Yeah. You have been the only person that's been real in this house. You are the nicest person in this whole freaking house. Yeah. You haven't had sex in 8 or 9 months. No way. Like,
And I should be getting more mad at Maddie anyways, because Maddie's always talking shit about my state. Bashing my state, you know. I would never go to her. He's saying that again. I was
then Allison came to my rescue last night, and Allison,
what did she say?
she's just like, I'm so sorry. People shouldn't say
I was just
things about you.
overwhelmed with everything that
Well, oh,
happened.
yeah,
I
I
didn't
know.
talk to anybody. I was just like, you know what, I'm getting
the thing is, like, were you there when they said, what did they say? When Allison said to Jen, you should go upstairs and talk to Amanda, and Jen went, oh, why should I go? Were you there for that? Oh, no. Allison told me that.
that what Jen just was what?
Jen's like, why should I go up with her?
I don't know, Jen, oh yeah, and then this is the other thing Jen said too, when we were all in the salon.
Yeah, this bitch is about to flip.
What was she talking about? She was talking about you.
She was.
Because all the people in that salon was talking about, they were trying, that's when they were telling me that you called me a whore, and then this stripper thing and everything. And then, like, Jen's like, oh, fuck that shit. And then, you know, that, like, she was like, shit is about to flip if I get HOH.
And didn't she say that bitch or something?
She's like, the shit is about to flip, or something like that.
And the
And
only
the
girls
only
that
thing I
weren't in
referred
there.
to, you were the only girl that wasn't there.
Well, me and Sharon.
Exactly.
No one else.
So that's the only person that referred to at all. You know what I mean?
So why would she try to be my friend and then say all that shit about me so we can keep her
So
safe?
we can keep her safe. But you know what? I think me and Maddie might be voting them out too.
I know. And I told Alex I don't want to make the decision on who goes home. Yeah. I'll let him make it.
Yeah. Because, everybody's just like, I mean, the whole house wants, I think the whole house wants Jen Parker gone.
Because of so much drama with
Exactly. Because every time there's a little problem, everybody says that it's you and Parker that caused all the drama in the house.
Me.
You and Parker.
Me?
Everybody says they want you gone and Parker gone because they say you two are the ones that assume everything, go bring everybody into everything. Flipping out me and Jim, like when the whole outside thing, me and Parker don't even, who gives a fuck? Don't worry about what anybody thinks in this house because you gotta worry about yourself. Who gives a shit what they think? You know what? Don't need to prove anything to them. They'll go home and watch it. Right. Because they're just gonna make you look a target.
And Allison said a really good thing to me. Allison's like, Amanda, when you go home, you're going to be like, why did I believe that person?
Exactly.
And that's what I'm thinking about Jen. Like, why did I believe her? And then Allison's like, why would she tell all of us that when we don't even like her?
Yeah. And see, Maddie was just like, you know, even he was like, yeah, she's the one that told me that you wanted a relationship with me.
I never said
And
that.
that's why I was like, what the hell?
So
I was
I-
trying to, so he's not saying that it was Allison. He was just saying that it was you. And so I'm thinking, why would she try to mess up me and you?
That would never, why would I harm our alliance?
I don't know. That's
Make
what I was
it make
trying to
sense.
figure out.
Make it make sense, Matt.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, you know? And then with the whole speculation thing in the sauna, that was the thing that I got mad about because I was like, well, now we're thrown under the button. Maddie's yelling at James for no reason.
I never
for speculation.
Right, and I said that, and I admitted it, and I just repeated what I heard.
Right, but you don't even repeat
I
what you heard.
can't.
Obviously, you can't. See what happens?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to say shit to anybody.
Except for your close, you know?
Like you and Alex.
Don't tell anybody else.
I didn't
No,
say
you
nothing.
couldn't even tell Alex because Alex is the one that told Maddie. Remember when you brought him into the sauna?
Yeah.
And you were like, I heard that we're going up, blah, blah, blah. He went and told Alex, but Joshy thinks it was you, or told Maddie, and Joshy thinks it was you that told Maddie. That's why he was calling you a liar. And me and Maddie went and yelled at James, and then we're thrown under the bus.
I get it.
You see, and that's why I was mad. I'm like, hell no, I don't need to be brought into this over speculation. It was all speculation. So if you hear anything, keep it to yourself and just don't come back after their asses.
Right.
That's what I do if I hear shit.
That's why, like,
I'm
you
coming
guys,
after their
guys
asses.
kind of went HOH. And,
I know. It's gonna be such a rough, like, I mean, we have to, you know, because I don't even know what's gonna go down, but, like, it's scary, you know, but I just think that Jen and Parker probably are gonna be going home. The way the house sounded, everybody would, like, sound like they wanted them out. It was gonna be 3-1, like, me and Maddie would be the only ones.
you guys don't want to be the only one.
Exactly. just was.
But I know.
It was so draining.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, come on in my mouth.
That's what I didn't understand. Like, why? She's your friend. She probably call you more or something.
Exactly the point.
You're a stripper.
My best friend, 2 of them are strippers. To this day.
Yeah.
2 of them. My best friends.
Yeah.
Why would I say that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't judge them. They get paid. They make a lot of money.
That's what I didn't understand. But then when the whole Maddie told me that you were in a relationship,
Yeah, no, I never said
I
that.
was like, well, what the hell's going on? You know?
That's why later on tonight we'll get Maddie and we'll talk to
Yeah,
Maddie.
yeah.
Later.
Yeah, later. Yeah, definitely. Because I just want to, because I don't want Maddie to be, like, afraid of me.
And he
I've
shouldn't
been
be.
single for 9
Months.
I can be single for a lot longer. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
I do not care. I told Maddie, I said, Maddie, I want to have fun. Yes, we'll have in the house. The type of protein shake with water.
Ew, is it gross?
It's not that bad. It's okay.
It's not bad at all. It tastes the same.
Kind of.
It's just not as thick.
I mean, he's showering.
Still. That doesn't mean they weren't talking.
That's true.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay. 1 second.
Okay.
Hey. Sorry.
One second, I'm just getting this last braid.
What are you going as for your chest? All right, go ahead.
What did she say to you? What did she say to you? Because you're a mess.
After everything that Eric has done and just told me some more stuff, I'm telling you right now, Eric is not going to put up Dick and Danielle next week. He's going to go after people in the group who are threatening him for him to be standing next to in the end. He is so fucking smart, Dustin. It'd be so much better to get rid of him with Arrow this week than have to worry if everything he says and doubt him. Because he's so fucking smart. He's playing this game so good. I know Gail, you know what? Gail can't keep you in the thicker by HOHs, but when she can, and Kirsten Jen won't put Dick and Danielle up. She can't stand Dick. She wants Dick out here so bad. Gail can't play, so what needs to Jamaica? I can't
then fine. No, I can't. I don't want somebody in here who I can't fucking trust. They're huge fucking smart.
I hope my recording could give you at least some slight idea about how both speakers compare. My verdict so far is that the JBL Boombox 2 is neither fish nor fowl. It's definitely an improvement over the old one, has more bass, so it's all about bass. It definitely lives up to its name, Boombox. But that was it. Outdoors the sound is not assertive enough. You could hear the Party Box managed to offer a way more convincing sound. While indoors both are not that great. It's definitely better sounding than the Party Box, but still lacking resolution, any kind of definition to the sound. We'll compare it also in my final review. I would like to make some measurements, compare it maybe against the FIFA Helsinki, which is a completely other type of speaker, but I would say that for normal indoor listening, the FIFA does a much better job. And outdoors, the Party Box also much nicer, much more powerful. Here, outdoors, you can only hear bass. I'm not sure where the treble goes away, because outdoors it even lost against the old Boombox. Not regarding bass, but regarding mids, treble, it somehow gets lost outdoors. So you get some bass, and I'm sure many kiddies will love it because of this bass. It's not really precise, it's not really fast or something, it's like some kind of floor, bass floor or bass carpet or something, especially at high levels. And I'm hearing some multi-band compression issues. The bass tends to disappear with particular tracks. So it's not perfect. Maybe they will issue some update, but my recommendation would be to definitely boost treble slightly, even for low levels a little bit, and at high levels even more, because it gets somehow lost outdoors. So you get some bass, but from 10-15 meters, the sound was completely lost anyhow. So here, for this purpose, the Party Box is definitely a nicer speaker. Not only is it much cheaper, half the price. So the cheapest I saw was, I think, 240 euros. Right now, as it's a new release, it costs 500, but maybe 1-2 years you will get it for 400, 350, who knows? Just like the old Boombox, which you can get now for 290. So, I mean, it's an improvement over the old one, but at the same time, not really that much of an improvement. So I'm a little bit disappointed. I would have hoped at least to have a slightly more refined sound. It's definitely more refined than the Party Box, but still not refined enough to justify not only the high price, but also the size and everything. Keep in mind, it's already close to 6 kilograms, so both are not speakers that you would, I don't know, pack into some backpack. It's also way too large. And carrying it around, it's both are nearly equally heavy. So I had one in my left hand, the other one in my right one. So they were quite imbalanced. So it's really a heavy speaker, quite a large one, nothing for the backpack. So it would be interesting maybe how it compares against a backpack speaker or a backpack speaker system like the Minirix, which are way smaller, way more compact, 3 parts to carry, but inside a rucksack or a backpack, no problem. Therefore, as my next video, I would like to compare the Boombox 2 against a Minirix setup, maybe with 1 sub, with 2 subs. With 1 sub, price is comparable, so you should get a 2.1 setup for around 500 euros, 530, 540, so a little bit more expensive, but battery life is outstanding. At maximum volume, but I don't want to talk, I want to hear this by myself, so next time I would like to compare the Boombox against the Minirix, as I still think the Minirix cannot give you this fat bass. You can hear the bass, it's tuned quite low, so it peaks at 45 Hertz, which is quite a high peak. But I will show some measurements later on. I didn't manage because it's too windy, so I will make another video as well as a final review, again comparing it against the old one, against some other speakers like the Helsinki or the Teufel Boomster and so on, simply to give you more input into the sound, so that you get an idea how it sounds, if it's worth an upgrade or something. If the first one, the first Boombox didn't exist, this one would be definitely decent, but it's still missing. It's missing, lacking power. It's lacking, assertion. So the sound is just not direct enough. I was quite shocked about how quickly it gets lost outdoors. Against the Party Box, no chance. But even outdoors, it's not great enough to really, to make me want to listen to it. It's okay. It's better than the old one. The old one at low levels sucked. sucked big time, independent of which mode you chose, either indoor or outdoor. They completely got rid of these modes, not sure why. They could have at least make some bass button like here. So here the party box without bass sounds maybe a little bit boring, but if you put it in some corner, it's still okay because the bass reaches also quite deep. And here, nothing. So it gets a little bit too boomy at high levels. So far, I think this was it. Nothing else to say. It's not the best speaker I've heard, not the best sounding speaker, neither the loudest in the size and weight. 6 kilograms is already quite heavy, and I'm really curious to hear by myself how much louder a mini rig setup is, which are just small speakers with 1/3 the weight. So this could be interesting. So far, I hope you liked this a little bit. I hope my videos so far were helpful. There will be definitely more coming, also maybe against the Hyper Boom from Ultimate Ears, which was not released in Germany yet, but thanks to a friend of mine from Norway who bought it for me. He sent it so it could arrive within some days. But from what I've heard, the Hyper Boom probably doesn't have this bass either, but it's more loudness-wise more comparable to the JBL Party Box, while being smaller as well. So this could be also interesting. Stay tuned for more. And until then, yeah, thanks a lot for watching and see you next time.
Not me, you are speaking up because we are in peace. She told me, she goes, I said, do you think we are getting situations we can put up? To continue on, she said, no, why would he? And I go, why wouldn't he? She goes, think about it. He wants to be seen, he's not stupid, Amber, he plays this game so right, because you have no idea the things he's told me about everybody. She goes, I swear to God, she goes, think about it. He wants to get rid of the people he doesn't want to be next to, and the good people like you, like doesn't like to. Are you trying to tell me some things? She goes, I'm not saying anything.
I can't believe Jen. Bettina. Look at her. She lied to me so many times in the past 2 days. Yeah, she fucking has. She has turned on me. She has stabbed her in the back. And everything that Bettina knows from her. Things to get this out. I am the person to go. I'm the person to go. Take it with them. Also next week, I leave this house. They will put up
Are you kidding me? And you're afraid. Would you rather go keep someone in the house that we know we're gonna fucking be put up, or keep someone in the house that we don't know what the fuck to trust anything they say? Eric is fucking smart, doesn't he? He's much bigger thread to have around than fucking thick and thin, yo.
Think smart. It's up.
Who does what? At least Eric, even look what Eric fucking did. Look at all this shit he's got going for 5 weeks. He's been pulling all this shit off. That guy who knows what he's fucking capable of is much more of a threat to have him around than anybody else in this fucking game. I don't care. I'm gonna be an aunt to continue going after me because I can't vote to keep Eric. I can't vote to get rid of Eric because I already fucking swore on my daughter. I'm fucked. I was thinking if, and I'm not trying to get you to know what I do, but if you went and told Dick, look, I'm going to vote to get rid of Eric, and made yourself look good, he wouldn't come after you. You'd be the 4th vote, and he would be so thankful for you, because then he would see that you're not as fucked up as you seem because you got rid of Eric. So it'd be like you're like, you know, getting in good with it.
But it can work. Has Dick ever got good with anybody in this house? Anybody.
Okay. If we all vote, if I'm in to make, I already gave Eric our word to vote to get rid of Gail, so we have no choice. If you are the vote that keeps Gail here and gets rid of Eric, you think they're gonna fucking come after you? Fuck no. Hell no. They're gonna be so thankful for you. By me making a
Hi everyone and welcome. You were listening to the Verum One, a planar magnetic headphone handcrafted by an engineer from Ukraine, Igor. I was contacted by him if I would like to review it. He sent it to me and I think the result is pretty amazing. Keep in mind, he made everything by himself, by hand, so there is no factory involved. And Verum, this is the Latin word for truth. I think he tried to offer you some kind of true tuning, uncolored one, unlike we had from the Hi-Fiman Sandera that I reviewed recently, which was not that great, maybe with different pads, but the pads are not that easy to exchange. While here, they stick magnetically. It also comes with two different pads, thinner ones that are also angled and thicker ones. And yeah, the sound changes quite a bit depending on the pads. What is to say, it looks a little bit strange, so I probably wouldn't go on the street with them. But they sound simply amazing, a very nice open sound, and like I tried to find some upgrade over my Sennheiser HD600, which the Sandera rather disappointed me, here the Verum really does nicely. What to say, so you can, the headband, it's already quite small, but you can see, I mean small, I already put it quite down, so with smaller heads you can maybe have some problem. If you want to make it bigger, you have to unscrew this and then put it into some other hole. I'm already quite at the bottom, so I mean my head is not somehow small, but I think I get the best sound like this. You can also twist it like there is some screw here, so you can see you can bend it around, something not possible with the Sandera. And I would like to demonstrate you the sound, also how it changes depending on the pads here. I have some other ones that I took off from the AKG K612. They don't have this magnetic ring, but they fit in perfectly. So they also change the sound quite a bit. And I think it's quite nice to have some potential for further tuning, which the Sandera you cannot do much, except maybe with some EQ, or if you find some other pads. But here, everything fine, just swap the pads, stick some other ones inside, and yeah, I will simply play some tracks. I will power it from the Topping DX3 Pro, but it can be also easily powered by an iPhone. I will demonstrate you this later on. So it has 10 ohms impedance, and yeah, it's definitely louder than the HD600, and I didn't hear any issues. So the iPhone is maybe slightly brighter than the Ampere, but apart from that, it sounds really nice from both. So let's start with the first track. This is Right in Time from an older album from Soul Personified Princess Frisia. And let's listen first with the original. Slightly, I wouldn't call it harsh, but you can see the drivers naked, so with some slight material in between, some fabric like we have here, it would maybe smoothen it slightly, but I prefer it a little bit brighter, so they are definitely way more sparkling than the HD600. And you could hear bass, mids, everything neutral, no harshness like we had from the Sandera. And I would like to show you again, without me swapping the pads all the time, I would like to demonstrate you the sound again with all three pads, but recorded on my mini DSP system here. And I will record all pads after the other with analog from Soul Personified Princess Frisia. I think this track represents all frequencies nicely, especially treble, so you will hear how the treble changes. First with these Superlux pads, then I will switch over to the original thick pads, I'm not sure how to call them, and to the thinner pads. So these three, so you will hear the difference in sound, and at the end you will always hear the original track, and at the end we will also compare it to the Sandera with the Superlux pads, as I think these sound really best to me, at least for my taste. So let's have a listen. And I'm quite amazed, especially with the right pads. These sound a little bit too bright, but with the pleather pads from the Superlux HD681, it sounds really, really fine. And I would like to demonstrate this again with my usual traditional 3 tracks that I recorded here on the mini DSP. You can of course also check it out through my database. I recorded it with both original pads and the Superlux pads, so you can compare it against the HD600 maybe or whatever. I think this sounds definitely nicer. Somehow more true, more sparkling, and yeah, just nicer. And for $350, this is what this is the price Igor is asking for. I think it's a no-brainer. So let's listen again, starting with the Verum one, then switching over to the Sandera, and at the beginning and at the end you will always hear the original track for your reference that you know how it should sound. So let's have a listen. Sandera out of the water with a more natural tuning, a nicer sound, way easier to power. I'm not even talking about those more expensive planar magnetic headphones from Odyssey, but the HiFiMan Sandera is quite a disappointment for me. It's too colored, also hardly can be powered from an iPhone, while this easily. The design is a matter of taste, so yeah, I could maybe try to go on the street with it. Let's see how the people will react. I will try to ask a friend to shoot a video. But I think it sounds really nice, especially with those Superlux HD 681 pads. Already quite nice with the original ones, but for my personal taste, the Superlux do the best job here. And I would like to show you some frequency response measurements. This is with the thick original pads, this is with the pitted pads, and this with the Superlux pads. Yeah, this is a bit much. Let's concentrate on the thick pads and the Superlux pads. And you can see that the thick pads have some peak here at 8 kHz, while the Superlux pads have a dip. But they don't drop that much above 10 kHz, so the original pads have some dip here at 10.5 kHz, and you get again some peak at 13 kHz, which is definitely nicer than one at 8 kHz. Let's compare the the pitted thinner pads against the Superlux pads. You can see with the pitted pads, it drops off after 1 kHz a bit too much. Then you can get again some peak here at 4.5 kHz and another one at, like we had from the thick pads, at 7.8. And treble is more or less the same. So the Superlux pads do the best job for me. If I overlay the Sandera here, you can see that it is a bit flatter with bass, but then drops off below 40 Hz or below 32, 33 Hz more than the Verum one. And it also has this dip at 2 kHz with a strong peak at 4.5 kHz. Treble is overall more boosted on the Sandera. And this coloration, this change from 2 kHz being maybe 6 dB too little over to 8 dB peak at 4.5 kHz makes the sound appear just fake. While this one, although some peaks and so on, keep in mind this is not a referenced measuring system, so it measures something. But this is the compensation that I use or that I hear. So when I flatten the curve to a completely flat line, you will get more or less the original sound. So this is what I'm hearing over my Sennheiser HD600 with Sonarworks profile. This is the sound I'm getting here. So I'm blown away by this headphone, and it is definitely a keeper. I would like to thank Igor for giving me the chance to try it out, because I think it's really worth, and I would definitely buy one. The design is not my taste. My wife already complained, if you wear it for longer, I don't know. It is a little bit, you have to get used to it, but I mean, this is a headphone, it's completely open, so it doesn't isolate at all. So it's I don't know, let me try some other song maybe. I think it sounds really nice. What do I have here? No idea. My kind of new reference. So every other headphone, especially above $350, will have to measure with this one. Maybe I will get the chance to get some other planar magnetic or whatever headphones. I probably won't buy them because, I mean, this is so good. Why do I need to spend money? I would be interested in the Fostex TRF-X00 from Massdrop, the Ebony, also the Focal Alex would interest me, but from what I heard, they are all a little bit peaky, not natural. This is really neutral. It resembles the sound of my Etymotic ER2 SE quite a bit. Or SE, it's Studio Edition, yeah. So it's with the only thing that is different is treble is slightly more not resonant. So the Etymotic definitely does a nicer job here, but you won't get this nice open sound from the Etymotic, while this sounds really great. So I will try to mod my Superlux pads, as I don't use the Superlux anyhow. I mean, I can get a completely new headphone for $20-30, this HD681. So I will try to mount the ring here somehow, maybe stick it or whatever with some glue, and then I will have pads that work perfectly well with this. I think I'm blown away. This is the wire that it comes with. So these are small 2.5 millimeter, I think. Everything very nice. And just that the design is maybe not to everyone's taste, but this is not as none of these, they don't isolate it all, so you probably if you see someone with a Sandera on the street, you can be sure that he listens to some shit. But this is really, I'm quite blown away. I'm really, first when I tried the original pads, I thought, yeah, there is some slight coloration. Then I tried these and I thought, yeah, it's already better, but was still not satisfied. And then after trying some other ones, and the nice thing is that they fit in perfectly. So it's exactly the same size. You can see that driver, I'm not quite sure. I think maybe these are the magnets or whatever. Below here, the membrane. So quite an amazing headphone, hand-built by Igor. So congratulations, Igor, for offering such a great product. And I hope everyone interested in some planar magnetic will have a look at this. You can get it over his own site. I think this is Verum One Audio or Verum Audio. Shipping, I'm not sure about the shipping costs. I had no problems with custom fees. He declares it as a low value and gift, so it arrived normally after 2 weeks. So very, very, very nice. And again, thanks to Igor. And yeah, this was it for the Verum One planar magnetic headphone. I'm sure you will see it more often in my videos. As for me, currently it's maybe the best headphone I've heard so far. From over years. I have not heard any Stax headphone because I cannot afford one. The Stax with the necessary amp costs, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000, $4,000. I cannot afford one like this, but this for $350 does such a great job that I probably wouldn't look at anything more expensive. I'm still interested in getting this Focal LX and the other Fostex one, but they're also expensive. So $600, $700 is a bit too much for me. This is exactly in a sweet spot of offering you this great high-end sound and still being affordable. So the same price as an HD 650 or cheaper than the 660S does definitely a much nicer job. Nicer, smoother sound overall, more sparkling, more dynamic. So really, really amazing. And you probably won't get this extreme soundstage out of the 660S or whatever. Yeah, this was it. I hope I covered everything. The Sandera goes back for sure. And really, after all this hype and praise, I expected a little bit more, but at least this was fulfilled with the Verum One here. So I'm still speechless that a single guy could make this while a huge company that have released several headphones. This should be already an improved one over the HE400, and it still sucks. So yeah, this is really, really, maybe I should also try to build my own headphone. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Like Jessica would never put to me give up ever. She trusts you. You guys have had a bond from the get-go. If I tell her, she could possibly tell Eric, please don't say anything. And he wouldn't, but if you tell her and you say, I'm telling you this because I want you to know. Because Amber told me, and because I care about you, Jess. But it's like that, she's not going to say anything because she knows you're looking out for her best interest. She's always been suspicious of me and Eric from the get-go.
No, I'm gonna tell her, Amber and I thought she bought a voice that was something and I gotta want you to know that.
Perfect. You see, Amber brought up some points that confirmed me saying Eric was telling her, honestly, do I want to be sitting next to you in the final two? I mean, you would win over anyone. And then say it's just weird to me that you would say that to her. And then he said, excluding Jamaica, you'd beat everyone in this house. She goes, Jessica, which isn't true because you have the relationship with everybody too, including Jen and Dustin. So why is it that he's looking at it like that? Does he really want to be with you in the final two? Or is he, you know what I mean, kind of like that, you know what? I just feel like, God, like, I talked to Eric for a reason. Eric said what he said to me for a reason, and that's our only chance for me to tell you, tell Jess, because why would Eric, I think he accidentally meant, he didn't mean to say that, but it came out like that.
exaggerated. That's no extra word, nothing like that.
Okay, do you want me to tell her that if she wants to get like further details, she can talk to me about it? Or no, because I'm telling her
that you know that that you're basically telling her that you know that I know that you told her. Say if you want, Jess, say I don't know. You know, say I can kind of talk to Amber. You're like, Jess, please don't say anything to her because I don't want Amber to know that I told you. Make sure you reinforce that. That way she doesn't. That way she thinks she can really. I know that she can trust you, but. Because I even called him out because he goes, you know, I mean, do I want to get, as far as my vote goes, I don't know, because, I mean, do I want to keep Zach around? Because honestly, I wouldn't mind sitting next to Zach in the final two. I'm like, but I thought you, and then he goes, but as far as, and he goes, with you, it's like, do I want to keep you around because you have my back? But at the same time, you know, let's be honest here. Nobody in this house wants to be next to you, excluding Jamaica in the end, because you know you'll win. And we all here for one reason. And I was like, I thought you wanted good people to win. He's like, I do, but, you know, do you still consider me a good person after everything? Just kept contradicting himself.
oh God.
But I don't want you to do anything you're not comfortable with.
I'm not comfortable with that. I just don't want it to be. I just want to remember everything so it can be quick but to the point and meaningful. I'm just trying to process everything as you're telling it to me.
It's just basically in the same breath he said, you know, he doesn't know where his vote would stand this week. Yeah, you know, and then he turned around and said about, you know, me and you. And Jessica's right there with us.
I know. Yeah, that I got.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then the comments tonight.
Yeah. Alright.
Sorry, no.
Come in.
You showering?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
What you doing?
You going to bed?
Just playing.
You ain't come back down.
What you doing? What?
See what Eric is going to do. And see if he'll change the nominations for you. Ask him that. Okay. Find out for sure. If not, she told me a lot of stuff. I can't because Eric's going to wake up, but I promise I'll be up first thing in the morning. He basically kept contradicting himself. And she doesn't know I'm telling you this. It didn't sit right with me when she told me. So if you want, I can ask her if I can tell you, but I'm telling you without having her permission right now. She basically thinks that Eric is playing you from stuff that he said to her tonight when we were downstairs. He said he called you what did he say in front of everybody? He was like effing whore for the drink. It was like the drink. He was like drink it effing whore, whatever. The other comment in that I kind of heard, but I was like, whatever, like, okay. And then the other thing was, like, maybe he didn't say effing whore, drink it, whore, or something like that. And then the other one, he was like, who the F cares, drink it, or something like that to him. Like, what is that all about?